is 8:42.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, we certainly can.
I'm not getting any audio.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Go.
There we go. See, these are the conversations that you normally don't hear live on air. So it adds to the excitement of what's coming. And people are like, what's coming? What's coming, Mike Richards? Well, good friends at Bell Lifestyles have decided that I should probably talk about a healthy liver. And people are like, well, is there someone else on the show who could talk about that? As always, it is very enlightening when we have any of our pals on, and Doug Carey joining us here this morning, who can tie this into the beating sometimes our liver takes and watching the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. Is there a correlation?
There is, isn't there?
Yeah, well, there just might be. I will say this, though. I'm not sure what products the Leafs are taking from Bell Lifestyle, but it's doing something for them. They're a little grittier. They're a little, I mean, as they said, what we've seen, certainly in that last game, we haven't seen a lot of that in the last 7 years ever, certainly in the playoffs. Austin Matthews standing in front of the goal, taking all the shots, then getting, this is the kind of stuff that Leaf fans have been dying to see. I'll tell you, last game, you got it.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd see a glove come off of Matthews ever. But they're definitely putting up a fight, which is good. I think every fan wanted to see them push back a bit, and they're rising up to the challenge.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I said, if I know the Leaf haters and so on, and there's enough of it, probably the rest of the entire country who relish in Leaf misery. I think you probably got to take those smiles away, because this looks like the kind of team, if they're going to hang in like this, I think they can win the series. I mean, I did before they went into this, and then after the first game, it was like horrifying because that was just like the worst performance ever. But it's been a make good, so I don't take anything away from what we've seen. Now this morning, and we run the spot that they'll hear on the show. The show is obviously sponsored by Bell Lifestyle Products, and they hear the ads. Liver support is one of them. But the one thing that I find so consistently when we talk to all the fine folks representing Bell Products is we're familiar with certain terms. Like we know what a liver is. We think high blood pressure or cholesterol. We're familiar with the terminology, Doug, but we really don't know sometimes the actual function of what it does. We say liver and we think one thing. We're thinking, okay, that's an alcohol thing. So is it like a filter, or, if you drink a lot, it's bad? It does much more than that. In fact, the liver is vitally important, which is why we're going to talk about this product here this morning.
Yeah, the liver does a lot of stuff for you. It's, we all know it for detoxifying your body. And it's a big role that it plays. And it's one, if not the only organ in your body that can regenerate because it takes such abuse. But there's limits, obviously. But it does more than just that. It also helps produce bile that helps you digest fat. It also produces cholesterol, which your body needs each day. And it has the precursors for the sex hormones. So, obviously it does a lot more than you think. It also stores glucose for backup energy. And that's important, if you're not getting enough food, it stores up a reserve. And when food is scarce, that's a good thing. However, when it's not, it tends to be an issue. But I think we all know it for detoxifying your blood, with whether it's drugs, toxins, alcohol, it does it all.
Now, for the most part, when we start talking about liver failure and those sort of issues, when it, and in all seriousness, like the heavy drinkers, so those that are, borderline, I would say, alcoholism, those kinds of things, we understand that kind of damage. But, if you're sitting there, you're like, basically, maybe you have a couple through the week, then you're more likely like you're a, weekend barbecue, especially in the summer where you're sitting there and you're having some wine, maybe you have some beers or whatever, seen as more casually, but that doesn't mean it's not doing something to the liver. So at some point, is there an ability to not restore, but at least add the cavalry coming to your liver to kind of save the day? Is this what we're talking about with liver support?
Yeah, I think what you want is some support, right? So recent studies came out to say that drinking alcohol is bad, period, whether it's more than one drink. And I think many of us, especially during playoffs, we're having a few, you just sort of have to, and enjoying the game. But, it can cause some serious problems. And what you want to do is you want to protect yourself from that. One of the things, as I mentioned, storing glucose, you can get what's called fatty liver disease from excess alcohol use, along with hepatitis and scarring, liver cirrhosis. And, you'll get those things from the liver detoxifying your blood, and alcohol being a big one for some. And so what you want to do is you want to have as much protection as possible. So we came up with liver support number 82. What it really does is it helps protect your liver with a number of herbs. And this really helps mitigate some of the issues that you'll have from drinking. So it's something that you can take acutely, meaning you can take it, on a weekend where you're drinking. It'll help, and you can take it every day if that's something that you do every day and you just want to help protect your liver.
Now, again, not sure in terms of if you're having liver difficulties, if there are some issues with the liver, aside from just going to your physician, your doctor, like, would there be signs that you would know that somehow maybe it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing? Like, what, is it, you become like sort of jaundiced, like, the color of the skin and so on? Like, what are some of those issues, if indeed there was something serious enough with the liver?
That's going to be the most obvious one. You're going to see yellowing in the eyes. That's from a buildup of bilirubin. Bilirubin's a breakdown product of your blood. When the hemoglobin breaks down, it breaks into bilirubin, and that's really how you get rid of it. And if your liver can't do that, then it starts to back up in your blood, and you'll see that yellowing in the eyes. If it gets that far, you're probably not in good position. If you start having problems, whether that's pain in the abdomen, whether you have other signs, that things aren't just feeling right. Anytime you're not feeling right, it's a good idea to see your health practitioner and just tell them what the symptoms are, and they'll do some tests and find out if you're having liver problems. That's a pretty easy blood test that you can do. Take a look, and you can pretty quickly see if there's an issue.
Now, in terms of taking this particular product, and again, something that we go over when we talk about Dell lifestyle products, this is not pharmaceutical. You're not taking some sort of magic pill and the next day it's all gone. This is about, more or less, the way I put it, with almost all the products, it is a program. You need to get it in your system over a period of time. You need to take it so many times for it to be effective. So it won't be just over in a couple of days or even a week, depending on what it is. With a product like this, what is the suggestion?
So with a product like this, like I said, you can take it on a regular basis. It's 2 capsules once a day. You want to take them with meals. So let's say lunch and dinner. And that will help with that liver protection. The product, Liver Support, contains some great ingredients. It's got something called N-acetyl L-cysteine, which is a glutathione precursor. It's something that is naturally in your body, and it will help improve some of that damaged liver tissue because of especially fatty liver disease. And so it's a really good product for that. Some other really common ones that are used for the liver: milk thistle extract. We all know what milk thistle looks like. That's that purple flower with the little spines around it. That's used for liver support as well, and that will help with weight management, cholesterol, and liver itself. It also has turmeric in it, one of our favorite anti-inflammatory agents, very effective for that. And we have dandelion and artichoke extracts, and both of those are very good with the liver. They help reduce some of the oxidative injury, so the free radical injury that you have to your liver, and it's really good at protecting that. And there are studies that show with those particular ingredients that you'll see improved blood test results with the typical liver markers like AST and ALT and bilirubin. So, these are all things that have been used again throughout history. They're not really new per se, but we look for ingredients that have a lot of scientific studies done behind them, and then we formulate our products accordingly. So we know that the ingredients that we're putting in these products are going to help protect against some of the common day-to-day punishment that you give to your liver.
Well, and I'm always amazed too, the evolution of what we have put into our bodies to figure out that something works. I mean, I couldn't imagine, I don't know, Thor or Hermes or whatever walking around, their stomach doesn't feel good, and they're like, I think eating a dandelion ought to fix this. Like I just wonder how the understanding of how to eat or consume milk thistle. I mean, how did they even come to these conclusions that this stuff actually has a positive effect?
Well, I think milk thistle, as an example, I think it's pretty prevalent in Scotland, and then Scotch comes from Scotland. So someone probably made the connection that way.
Well, and the Scots would have figured that out with a lot of their lifestyle. They better figure out something. The Scottish and the Irish, maybe we should eat these plants. I don't know, to balance it out with all this Scotch and whiskey drinking. It's a great product, and again, in its inception and how it goes, and we've talked about this, but I still find it staggering from the moment that it's thought of to address a certain ailment in your body, from the process of thinking about it to the point where you can go to Nutrition House and see David Park and see it on the shelf. We're talking how long? Years, right? Years.
Yeah, it can take a long time from the time we first get the concept of, there's a need out there for a product like this, and going through all the individual ingredients and looking at the studies and seeing which ingredients are going to be best. And then it's a little bit of art to put it together into a capsule so that you get that sort of synergistic effect of all the ingredients. And then, of course, it has to go through a very rigorous process with Health Canada, in which, they review it, they review the studies behind it, and they'll allow you to have claims on a product like this. So that alone will take 8 months to a year. So it's a very long process.
Well, thanks so much for joining here this morning, Doug. It's always interesting stuff, and I know that you are also very engaged with watching the Leafs on television. But I'm guessing very little synchronized swimming. I would think very little of that in your household, or is that still a war that's going on?
You'd be surprised. So my partner, her daughters all do synchronized swimming. So that causes a lot of issues in the house. Debating, hockey, sport, synchronized swimming. It is a sport. It is very tough, but not one that you're sitting at the bar drinking.
No, I wouldn't think so. That'd be a very interesting bar if it was. Probably watching it for all the wrong reasons. I mean, I just say that. Doug, great stuff. We'll catch up real soon. Thanks so much for this morning. Always a great time.
Thank you, Mike.
That's Doug Carey from Bell Lifestyle Products talking about liver support. And as Doug goes through it, I mean, there's a lot that has gone into this, because there's a lot that the liver does. I'd like to thank everyone who joined us here this morning.